So this information is really, really mind-blowing, but I definitely have to share it with you because this is something that I've been staring at in amazement behind the scenes recently. So Jackson Hinkle, who's also a lefty YouTuber, everybody check him out, he put together a list here of exactly what's happening behind the scenes with independent media. So he says, YouTube is silencing independent left creators by shoving us down in the algorithm. Don't believe me? Check out how much our average subs have dropped in the past month. Secular Talk down 88.9%. I'm leading the pack, by the way. Convo Couch down 72.7%. The Dive with Jackson Hinkle, that's his show, down 71.4%. Let me show you the rest. Bad Faith down 69.5%. Frank Analysis down 69.3%. Soapbox down 50%. Lee Camp Show down 50%. Unapologetic down 47.4%. Jimmy Dore Show down 42.9%. Hard Lens Media down 25.8%. Redfish down 18.8%. Richard Medhurst down 17.6%. Black Agenda Report down 17.1%. And by the way, this isn't even a fully comprehensive list. Every other independent media outlet you can think of is down massively. Now, listen, is some of this attributable to the fact that we just had an election and interest in politics was peaking? It was at a high. That's absolutely true to an extent. Now, we have the experience of doing this during the last election. And so I know what drop is reasonable, what drop is attributable to people sort of naturally losing interest after an election. You can expect a drop of about 20%. Having about a 20% drop is reasonable. Because again, people just sort of tune out a little bit more to politics after an election. It makes sense. Not everybody's a hardcore political junkie and will watch every single video. You guys know this, although a lot of you who are watching this are those kinds of hardcore political junkies. But if it was about 20%, okay, it is what it is. But when you start getting 30%, 40%, 50%, 90% for this show, that, without a doubt, is not just, naturally people are tuning out. No. That is the same kind of crackdown that happened a few years ago when YouTube openly admitted this. They released one of their letters where they said, because of the controversies, we're going to crack down on what we call borderline content when it comes to news and politics. Borderline content. Stop and think about what that really means. What that means is, no, it's not the things that are obviously over the line. It's not like white supremacist channels or what have you. No, it's the things that are questionable as to whether or not they're really over the line. Well, you know who falls into that category? Anybody who's edgy and interesting. Borderline is totally subjective and in the eye of the beholder. So many people would look at this channel if they don't agree with my politics would say, well, obviously that's borderline. Look at the stuff he says. Look at the stuff he does. Look at how he acts on air. Are you kidding me? Just the topics we talk about are controversial in and of themselves. So we were cracked down on and we were likely deranked. YouTube doesn't admit this part, by the way, but they don't even admit there's separate algorithms, but I'm convinced there are, and we were likely deranked in the algorithm where the main thing that happened is this. It used to be the case that if you're watching a political video, you could be watching a CNN video, and then you could get recommended a Secular Talk video because we were treated, it was relatively meritocratic and it went by views, and if it was popular, it would go up in the algorithm and then more people would watch it. Then it got to a point where now you're very unlikely to get recommended a Secular Talk video if you're not already a viewer of Secular Talk. So it's nearly impossible to reach new audiences. And this is a conversation I've had time and time again with, my co-host on Crystal Kyle and Friends, Crystal Ball. She said, listen, I see the numbers for The Hill. The Hill is a corporation. Rising is part of The Hill. So they do content very similar to ours, and they get colossal sub growth. Why? Because they're treated on the same algorithm as CNN. So they're lucky. They sort of slipped under the radar, no pun intended saying radar, but they slipped under the radar so that people don't realize that they're really an anti-establishment show. YouTube doesn't treat them like an anti-establishment show and like an independent show, even though they kind of are. And so they get the benefit. They are a good example of what it would actually be like if it was fair, if it was a meritocratic algorithm. It is without a doubt nowhere near that. We just had a 90% drop in new sub growth. 90%. And when you go back and look when it was meritocratic, during the 2016 election. I was gaining 30 or 40,000 subs per month. Per month. Now, we damn near lost subs this month. So listen, this is not for me to cry and whine and bitch and moan and say, oh, woe is me. It's to just point out to you guys that we're fighting an uphill battle here. We really are. And just like with Adpocalypse, at any given moment, YouTube could just say, yeah, we're just going to take away all of your monetization. As we covered recently with some channels, got their monetization jacked instantly, but on flimsy reasoning. So we're fighting an uphill battle here, and we can't be relaxed in the face of this stuff. So what I want you to do is make sure that you, and I never ask for this, but I think it would help in the algorithm if all the videos are liked, you know, so if you watch a video and you like it, hit like, subscribe, comment. I think the more interaction, the better in terms of the algorithm. But also make sure that when you subscribe, you click that bell so that when a video drops, you basically get notified right away and you watch the video. And we just need as much engagement as possible and to spread it as much as possible. Share this stuff far and wide as much as you can. Because really, there's no way we're going to be able to make up for the fact that we're on a shittier algorithm. But we got to try. We got to try. You know, I have zero faith that they're going to go in the right direction here. And the other thing is support all the content creators who you enjoy. So if you like this show, you can go to our Patreon. The link's in the video description box. Go to the Secular Talk Patreon. Donate $1 a month or $2 a month or $5 a month or $7 a month or whatever it is. That really helps. And also, if you're a fan of Crystal Kyle and Friends, same thing. You can give $5 a month there and you get the video of Crystal Kyle and Friends. The audio is always going to be free for everybody. But if you want the extra perk of the video, you tip us $5 a month and you get the video. Basically, this is a long way of saying support independent media as much as you possibly can. Because the fact of the matter is, yes, we're fighting an uphill battle. It's really not a fair fight. They've tied both our hands behind our backs and now they say, okay, now we'll fight you. But both hands are tied behind my back. How am I supposed to fight you? I just 90% decrease in sub growth. Again, if I had 20% decrease, would I be doing this segment? No. Even if I had 30, I'd shut up and take it, right? But 90%? No. And this isn't a coincidence. Some of the drop is because people lost interest after an election. Definitely not all of it. They're cracking down again on borderline content, and we're forever going to be borderline content. What they really need to do is get rid of the tiered system for the algorithm and treat everybody fairly. Treat it like a meritocracy. You know, I get it. They want to hold on to their advertisers, and so they're scared of scandals of ads running on shitty channels. What do you want me to tell you? We put on a good show. Sometimes it's edgy, and, you know, leave it up to the people whether or not they like it. But definitely don't tie both hands behind my back and tell me to fight you then, because that's totally unfair. And obviously, it's not just us dealing with it, although we really are getting the brunt of it. But it's not just us dealing with it. It's a totally rigged system. And it's really depressing. So anyway, do anything you can to support independent media. And hopefully at some point we'll find a back channel to YouTube to plead our case. Because really this is, I mean, any independent voices are getting drowned out. And there's going to come a time when ultimately what they want is only the approved official channels to be out there. All you get is CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC. When the whole point originally of YouTube was to get away from that, to get alternative, independent voices. But really, they're trying to force feed you CNN and MSNBC and Fox News. There was a time when CNN would get less than 1,000 views on their video, and then they got propped up by the algorithm, and boom, they take off even though they still do shitty stuff. So, I mean, again, it's just fundamentally unfair. So support independent media however the hell you can. Thank you.